I'm Arpit Kumar and I have secured rank 421 in UPSC CSC 2024. We'll be discussing on few tips and tricks which can add up that extra half mark or extra 1 mark in each question, so you can get extra 10 to 15 marks. In first mains I got 113 and in second mains, the recent one 2024, I got 121 marks. And there are few things which I still know that I could have done better so as to score better marks. As of how notes are to be made, please keep in your mind these three things. These three things are very important and they will help you throughout your preparation of ethics.
Nirnay IAS by officers for future officers.
Hello everyone. So here we are coming up with our ethics marks maximization series. I am Arpit Kumar and I have secured rank 421 in UPSC CSC 2024. Throughout this session, we'll be discussing on few tips and tricks which can add up that extra half mark or extra 1 mark to your overall paper in each question, so you can get extra 10 to 15 marks. My score in ethics in both of the mains was, in first mains I got 113 and in second mains, the recent one 2024, I got 121 marks. And there are few things which I still know that I could have done better so as to score better marks. So these are the things which I will be trying to teach you and which you can use in your upcoming mains or whichever mains you will be writing in your future. So without wasting your more time, let's come to the point. There are few things I will tell, and in the end I'll also share with you some samples as of how notes are to be made and everything, right? Let's go. First thing, tip 1 is a one-pager directory. What is this one-pager directory? In every page, you have a lot of values in ethics. For example, integrity, impartiality, compassion, right? And we are always confused as of where to prepare and how to write whatever we have learned from in these particular values. So what you have to do is you have to make a one pager of all the values which you are being taught or which you have made notes from, right? How to make them? Firstly, have a definition ready. Okay, regarding, it can be a quote, it can be a definition, anything, right? Secondly, you should always be ready for 4 to 5 examples, and those examples should be of different dimension. For example, you can have 2 examples from administrative point of view, one from mythological point of view, one from historical point of view, and so on. So this is very important, right? Then the most important thing is a diagram. A diagram can be a schematic, can be anything. Okay, I'll be talking more about it in the later slides. But a diagram, a good quote for conclusion if you have already not used it in the introduction part. And also, a very important thing here is that you should interconnect. You should write, okay, this is integrity, where I will use it. How to link integrity with the aptitude, how to link integrity with the ethics. This is how you will make your one pager, and this one pager you will have with you, which you will revise again and again. So it gets embedded in your system, right? Tip number 2, deliberate keyword play. You have to maintain a directory of keywords, at least 80 to 100 keywords, which you will be jamming in your answers. Why? Why do we do this? This is because ethics is about language. If the professor who is reading your copy, he gets a feel that, okay, this person has read this particular subject and he knows what is the vocabulary of this particular subject, then it becomes more important and then it becomes more valuable, right? So these are the words like probity, rule morality, conflict of interest, right? Public interest. Many more words I will show you when I will show you the samples of my notes. You can use them directly in your answers because it enhances the vocabulary of your subject, right? In every answer, I have written down clearly that in every answer, at least 3 to 4 keywords should be there. At least 3 to 4, maximum 7 to 8. Also, keep your language simple. Do not fill your answer completely with the keywords. Okay, this is very important, especially in the introduction and conclusion, right? Now comes the third thing, scholars in theory and case studies. See, this is a very bad habit of us isolating a particular part of a syllabus and not using it throughout. Scholars is a particular pointer in your syllabus, but you do not have to limit it yourself to it. For example, if you are talking about Plato, right? You read about Plato, you read about Machiavelli. If a question on Plato and Machiavelli comes, you will write it in the answer. But if it is not coming, you are not using these Plato and Machiavelli in other answers. How to use them? If anywhere you feel that okay, there is a need for a state dimension, like the country, the ruler dimension, then you have to use Machiavelli. Then you can use Plato's Philosopher King, right? Anywhere where there is talk about freedom of speech. Then in freedom of speech talk, you can use J.S. Mill, right? If you are talking about the happiness, you can talk about Jeremy Bentham, right? I have given the example of Kant. Even Kant, duty is non-negotiable. There are hundreds of examples, there are hundreds of points where in your question the things will appear where there will be a debate between means and ends. So if you have to show that okay, means are as important as ends, you will use Kant. If you have to show that okay, ends are more important sometimes, then you will use utilitarianism as a theory. So this is how you have to integrate, right? One thing. The second thing is that whenever you are talking, it should not appear as if you are deliberately putting it in, right? Here I have given you the example that you can argue like this. A Kantian would argue, don't take it on your own name. Put it on the name of the scholar. That will be the best thing, okay? Next, personal experience file. This is very important and this helps you to somehow differentiate your answers from the others because it has a personal touch. The examiner knows that okay, he is writing for from his own experiences. It is something which is good. Don't overdo it, but in every answer you can put one example of a personal example from your personal example file. What can be the example of it? It and it is not necessarily you have seen yourself. Okay, you can even utilize something which you have seen in the society and you feel is a good thing, right? For example, I used a Japanese example where a person was stuck in the metro train and a lot of people came and lifted up the metro so that person could be freed from that clutch. So I used it in a collectiveness kind of example which I can recall. Okay, so these are things which make your answers unique. Don't fill up the administrative examples completely in your sheet. Okay. Next, ethical compass framework. This is basically as of how to think. How to think. Sometimes we are stuck in our thought process because we are not able to understand. Okay, from where to should we start thinking? So this is where this comes into play. First of all, think about what are the conflicting values. You know conflicting values. We usually call this as dilemmas. So what are the dilemmas which I can note down here, right? The second one, the most important one, which you all would already be using is who are the stakeholders? Who are the stakeholders in this particular question, right? Third, what does the ethics theory suggest? What is the ethics theory? Like we talked about just right now. Utilitarianism theory, there is a deontological theory, there is a Plato specific theory, Mill specific theory. Use all of them in your answer. Okay. What does the rule and law says? Because any of your take should not go against the rule, should not go against the laws, right? And in the end, what will be the most justifiable decision? Where do you have to use them the most? It is in the case studies. In the case studies, it will be mostly used, but can also be used in your 13 questions, 13 10 markers. Okay. Then the next one is GS4 integration maps. In your one pager directory, you have to make that okay, this is what I'll be using in GS1. This is how I will integrate with the GS1. This is how I will integrate with GS2. Okay, and GS3 also. Because there are a lot of examples in GS which you are already reading, which you can directly use in your ethics paper. Again, I'll say don't isolate your preparation. Keep everything GS1, 2, 3, 4 integrated. For example, if you are writing empathy, right? If you are writing about the value of empathy, can't you just write any example from the GS2 social issues paper, GS1 society paper, right? If you are writing about probity, do not integrity. If you do not, you can't you use a lot of examples from the governance GS2. Even in history, there have been a lot of rulers who are very integral, right? So keep a blend of it so it feels that okay, this person is covering in dimensions, lot of dimensions. Moral courage. These are the keywords which will I'll be talking about in the future. Okay. Now, the other thing, start with the fictional quote. This is not for everyone. This is not for everyone because everyone is not having issues in remembering quotes. But there are few unlucky people like me who cannot remember a lot of quotes. So what you can do is, firstly, the first layer of preparation should be that you have to maintain a layer of quotes, at least 50 to 60 quotes, and try to memorize them and try to use them. Work upon the application part because sometimes quotes simply doesn't fit and then we think, okay, why we are not getting marks? Because your intro was completely out of the line. So try to somehow fit in your introduction with a quote which is fitting. Okay. But if you cannot remember them, then think about simple quotes, simple one-liners which you come across in your life, right? For example, I will give you an example. I was writing a question regarding, it was something regarding bravery. So I read it somewhere and I didn't even knew who had said this quote. But I used this line as my introduction, that bravery never goes out of fashion. And the checker who was checking the copy, it was a mock test. So he said, okay, this is a very good introduction, very apt introduction. So introduction should be very apt. So I have given you the example like ethics begins where excuses end. This can be used as an in conclusion, as an introduction wherever. है ना? What you permit is what you promote, right? These kind of examples, these kind of quotes you can use anywhere and they'll be very helpful, right? This is very important. And this is not something which is just about the question. The heading is one diagram per question. But it is not just about the question. It is also about that one diagram should always be there in your notes. Every one pager should have at least one or more diagrams, at least 2 to 3, because you will not be able to recall every single one of them, right? So keep in your mind regarding this, right? And also, diagram is not just diagram, it can be a flow chart, it can be a stakeholders diagram, it can be a value mapping structure diagram. I'll show you in my notes in next lectures what it is actually about, how they are drawn. Okay, I'll give you an example, give you many examples. Every question should have at least one such included in it, right? Now this is the most important thing, you cannot let it go. After diagrams, this is the most important thing, the art of substantiation. How does it work? See, I have given you this heading and below I have written few lines. If I would have left it without keeping the below lines intact, would have you understand anything? The art of substantiation. You have to substantiate any point which you are making. It becomes more and more amplified and the quality of the question improves. It can be done through examples, it can be done through diagrams, whatever you can feel, schematics, but every point should have substantiation included within it. Okay. Now, what is the most crucial thing? I'll tell you 2 to 3 most crucial things. Okay. 2 to 3 most crucial things. One is speed. The other one is dimensions. And the third one is filling up the paper. How does it work? Speed. Believe me when I say this, there are a lot of students who are not even able to complete their paper in time. So you have to develop your speed in a way that you can write a lot and you can write a lot very fast. Okay. Dimensions. Your answers should not be monolithic. Your answers should not just contain administrative examples. Your answers should not just talk about history. It should have everything which is under the sky, anything which you can think of should be in your answers, right? And third one is filling the pages. Everything, your ethics copy should look as if not a single blank is there. Okay. Many students come to me and ask, sir, we are filling 3 pages in the case study. Okay, even if you are having a small handwriting, still the other person will feel that you have left 1 page. Then he might deduct 1 extra marks or half extra marks, right? So why do we need to give such opportunity to the examiner? So okay, please keep in your mind these 3 things. These 3 things are very important and they will help you throughout your preparation of ethics. Now, these are a few of the examples, few of the examples from my own notes, how I used to make notes. See, this is the list of administrative examples. Saurabh Kumar, Dantewada district, lunch with collector, career counseling, Divya Devaranjan, okay, learn local languages to solve the war, Prashant Nair, Operation Suleimani, food distribution campaign, IR SR Sankaran, People's IAS, because he was working for the bonded labor, right? Like this, you have to maintain. I have just included few. I have 40 to 50 examples of administrative setup. Okay. Then coming to the second portion. The second portion is regarding the leaders, right? How to link the theory. Gandhi's Ram Rajya in itself is a theory of ethics, right? Mahabharata, Ramayana, Buddhism, Bhagavad Gita. I even wrote down chapters to sometimes quote in the case studies. Okay, I was not able to mostly. But and I have not read Bhagavad Gita, just to make it clear. I have done the chat GPT and I have just extracted out the important verses which can be used in ethics paper. So these are the things which you can do. It increases your and improves your application part. Buddha's emotional intelligence, Arjun's ethical dilemma, hai na? This is how you have to do Jainism. So you will understand once you start doing it. This is how you have to maintain an example directory. Now, this is the example of one page I was talking about. Okay, this is from a copy of a topper. I took the inspiration from there. So credit, we should give credit where it is due. So this is the definition, right? This is the conclusion. These are the keywords as well as the ethical theories linkage. These are the quotes, right? These are the examples, 7 to 8 examples which are there, right? And these are the functions and more things which we can do with this particular value. One diagram should also be there. Diagram should also be there. Okay. Next, these are the set of keywords which I was talking about. How to utilize the keyword thing. Altruism, sympathy, empathy, compassion, benevolence, generous, justice, equality, timeliness, loyalty, right? These are things which you can use again and again in your questions, right? So it will give you the vocabulary touch of the ethics. Vocabulary touch is the fourth most important thing after those three things, okay? Courageousness, fearlessness, fortitude, right? Now, these keywords are also very important. They are a little bit of fancy. Just listen to them. Altruistic hedonism, empathetic stoicism, quiet courage, calm intensity, visionary pragmatism, introspective courage. What are these? These are called as qualified keywords. What does qualified keywords mean? Qualified keywords means that they are self-explanatory. If you write them and in bracket, if you are substantiating them with an example, it is a point in itself. You do not have to write a one complete line. So this will also save your time, and this will also give a very good impression on the examiner, right? Unshakable faith, noble aspirations, ethical fortitude. But remember, don't make the keywords so complex that you are not able to recall them or remember them, right? Please do take care of them. This is one of the example of my own notes in aptitude. I have given a definition of aptitude, right? I have written the importance of aptitude. I have written the my personal example, which I was telling you that during COVID-19, how different things I saw. Any difference, aptitude versus skills, which we usually see, right? Then there are examples, 4 to 5 examples, which are here. Then is there any direct question? So there is a question in PYQs on types of aptitude. So I have included it within my notes, right? Here a question of difference usually comes between attitude and aptitude. So it is also something which is important. So you have written it. Importance in civil services. This is a question which usually comes. So I have included it in my notes and few more examples. One diagram I have made here because I was having less space, but you can include more diagrams. So this is how things are to be taking place in your completely in ethics. Okay. So while concluding our lecture, I'll say that ethics is just about conveying emotionally what you want to tell to the examiner. But it is not something which should look very cliche. Okay. Don't give personal examples which are pitiful because it gives a bad impression. It might feel that you are faking, right? So don't go that way. It should appeal to the heart of the examiner. है ना? And as I already told you that we must we must have the interconnectedness in the GS papers. We must have the interconnectedness in the GS topics. And lastly, the ethics subject language. Try to do these few things, and I hope and I wish that you will be able to cross that 125 plus bar, and even more, if you have the capability to do so. And to be very honest, capability can be developed if you work hard enough. So this is for this lecture. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope we'll be coming up with more lectures if this lecture works out in a very well oriented manner for you. Thank you so much.